What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA. And I thought this article on CBR.com was kind of interesting because it's posing this question, or trying to answer it anyway, as to why Japanese manga is currently outselling American comic books in the West, which is 100% true. All right. Comic books are getting absolutely throttled and stomped into the mud by Japanese manga. As it says here, Japanese manga is selling incredibly well in the West, and it seems American comics can't keep up even on their home turf. And you might be wondering, well, why that is. Now, they give a couple of reasons here. Japanese manga offers better prices and consumer convenience. And that's 100% true, all right? You can go into almost any Barnes & Noble, all right, anywhere in the country, and you will find a gigantic section, okay? A whole row just dedicated to manga, all right? You'll see that. And then on top of that, all right, the prices are really decent, all right? $10 for a manga, that's not bad, all right? You can afford that. So yeah, it's really easy to get, and the prices aren't bad. And the second one they mention is Japanese manga has a low barrier to entry for new readers. Also very true, all right? All right, if you want to know where to start with a comic book, like where do you begin, right? Like Spider-Man, that character has existed for over 60 years, all right? Where do you start with Spider-Man? Do you got to go all the way back to the 60s and start reading that stuff, and then the 70s and 80s just get caught up, okay? Like, where do you begin with Spider-Man, all right? Where it comes to manga, right? Like, for instance, right now, I'm reading Jujutsu Kaisen, okay? You want to read JJK? It's literally one story from beginning to end, all right? You start with volume 1, I guess 0 in this case, all right? There's a 0 on this one. But you can see right now I'm on volume 4, okay? And then after this, I'll go to volume 5 and volume 6, all right? I'm trying to get geared up for season 2. Season 2 is supposed to come out in a couple of months, and so I'm kind of getting geared up for that. All right. And what I do is I watch the anime first and then I read the manga. That's how I do it. Okay. But yeah, one of the biggest things that they don't mention in this article at all is anime. All right. Anime 100% sells manga. All right. And manga sells anime. Okay. It's like a constant feedback loop. They sell each other. They go hand in hand. Right. And the thing about it is this current generation, okay, the young generation, Gen Z. All right. Generation Z is an anime loving generation. All right. If you're not aware of that, they absolutely love anime. Yeah, they like other things too, but anime seems to speak to them in a way that all of this Western entertainment doesn't. And I think that's one of the big reasons why manga is selling like it is. But you might be wondering, well, why is it that anime has caught the attention of all of these Gen Zers, okay? Zoomers, or whatever people want to call them. One reason is you can take it back to the 2000s, the early 2000s, okay? And you had those 3 big titles that kind of set the tone for today's anime, right? You had One Piece, you had Naruto, and you had Bleach, all right? And then even before that, Dragon Ball Z, okay? Everybody knows that. So I think that those really caught the attention of young kids in the early 2000s, and they've just been enjoying it ever since, okay? And the thing about it is, anime isn't rehashed remakes, okay? It's brand new material. Rehashed remakes is what these kids are getting from the Western entertainment, all right? They're constantly getting old stuff. They keep going back to the 80s and remaking crap, okay? Instead of making entirely new things. I just discussed that on a previous video. These kids deserve their own content, stuff for their generation. You shouldn't constantly be going back to make stuff for my generation. I said it on that video. Gen Z deserves their own content for their generation, something specifically for them. And if the West won't do it, all right, we'll turn to the East, okay? We'll go to Japanese anime and manga, and that will be ours, okay? We'll claim that, all right? That one's ours. All right, then y'all can keep your rehashed and remakes and your reboots, okay? That belongs to you, all right? Like, think about this for a second. Imagine being a kid and all you're getting from your parents are hand-me-downs and you're eating leftovers like every single day, all right? That's what Western entertainment is to Gen Z, okay? Gen Z's not getting new clothes, okay? Gen Z doesn't get fresh cooked meals, okay? They got to wear Big Brother Bobby's old shit, all right? It's like, man, oh, it's ironed, it's nice, it's clean. I don't care, it ain't mine, okay? This stuff is looking kind of ratty and worn out. It don't speak to me and my style and who we are in this particular generation, all right? Or you got to eat some warmed up old hamburger helper from last night. Nobody's trying to do that for the rest of their lives. Nah, okay, and then here comes a stranger, right? And along comes a stranger from another country and says, oh, here goes some stylish new clothes, all right? And a hot home-cooked meal, all right? Which one are you doing? And it's all for you. It's yours, okay? You ain't got to share it with nobody. It belongs to you. Which way are you going, okay? I mean, I'm just saying, that's the problem with Western entertainment, all right? They don't understand that. That's one of the biggest reasons that anime is popping, okay? Because it belongs to them. It's theirs, okay? Look, this stuff isn't my anime. My anime was Speed Racer, Voltron, Battle of the Planets, right? And Robotech. That was my anime, okay? That's what I grew up with, all right? These guys, they're growing up with stuff. Look, let's go to Crunchyroll real quick. Yeah, you start going through Crunchyroll and you start checking this out. You don't see Robotech or Voltron anywhere on here, do you? Okay? You don't see Speed Racer or whatever, all right? Because this is their generation, all right? This is for them. They are making new anime constantly, all the time, all right? For the current generation, appealing to the kids and the young people of this generation and the old people too, for that matter, all right? But they're doing something new. They're not rehashing, remaking, rebooting, giving it sequels, okay? Sometimes they do, all right? But for the most part, like 90% of anime, at least the stuff that I come across, it's just all brand spanking new stuff. And now, yes, in many cases, all right, anime is just an adaptation of a previous work, all right? Usually a manga, sometimes a light novel, all right? But it's still new stuff, all right? It's still not Western entertainment is given. It's not a sequel. It's not a reboot. It's not a remake, okay? And even though, like, a lot of anime might feel derivative, and it does, okay? Because it just repeats its own tropes like any other genre does, all right? It's like if you've seen one, you've seen them all, I get it. But you still get new characters, you still get new storylines, okay? You still get new situations, you still get new, like, power sets, you get twists and turns on the original design. I've heard people say, like, Jujutsu Kaisen, right? I've heard people say Jujutsu Kaisen is nothing but Bleach with, like, new characters and extra steps, all right? Okay, maybe it is, all right? But it's still new stuff, okay? It's still something that I can get into. It's not like the 50th reboot of Scooby-Doo, all right? With a bunch of new race-swapped characters and a more sassy Velma or whatever the case may be, all right? It's not that. It's not the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle for the umpteenth time, all right? And look, they've only gotten it right once, okay? They've only gotten Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right one time out of all of that. Or you got this upcoming bad sequel to Indiana Jones. Is that supposed to capture the imagination of people, young kids, all right? Like Indiana Jones captured my imagination when I was a young kid? No, it's not, okay? And the Star Wars stuff doesn't seem to be catching on with them either. I have tried to get kids into Star Wars. They're not interested, all right? Because they keep telling the stories within that same time frame. They're sticking to that original trilogy timeline, all right? Or the prequels, all right? They're not going forward 200 plus years and giving this generation its own brand new thing, all right? Even when they tried to do it with Rey and with Finn and with Poe, they still screwed it up, all right? They should have just kept the original trilogy cast out of the new stuff or made something with the original trilogy cast to kind of close that loop, but then go forward far into the future, all right? And give the next generation its own Star Wars. I think that would have been the smart thing to do. But again, that's what anime is doing. Look, anime is always giving us new characters, new stories, all right? Maybe the same type of story, all right? That could be true. Maybe the same thematic concepts. But honestly, all storylines are really just variations of a handful of archetypes of stories, all right? Every story is like basically rooted in, I think, about 6 or 7 main archetypes. Other than that, they're all the same, okay? So you could just do variations of those. And that's what anime does, all right? And look, to my Gen Zers out there, you guys want to know what the 80s was really like? The 80s was anime, okay? This is what the 80s was like. A variety, grab bag of new entertainment constantly coming out, okay? Cutting edge special effects, okay? You got different animation styles coming out, all right? And all the big films that came out back in the 80s, okay? The stuff that we loved, it was new, it was different, it was groundbreaking, okay? It wasn't just rehashing the same old over and over and over. Yeah, you had some casts that were doing that, but for the most part, it was brand new stuff, all right? And some of it worked and some of it didn't work. And like, honestly, if I were to go through Crunchyroll 24/7 for the rest of my life, I would never reach the end of this thing, okay? I would never reach the end of all of this stuff that there is to watch, okay? Brand new shows. And look, the community is 100% thriving with anime. Now, I love this website, right? This is animecons.com. It kind of gives the anime convention schedule for the entire year, all right? And you can see, all right, I got 1986 kind of highlighted right here. And there's only 3 states that even had anime conventions, all right? You had Texas, you had one in Pennsylvania, all right? And then you had one in California, official Robotech convention. Yeah, that's basically what they had back in 1986. And again, only 3 states, right? And then as you go on forward in time, all right, you'll click on 1994. It's like, okay, we added a couple of more states. Still not really popping yet, right? All right. Then you go up to like 1999. Oh, yeah, a few more states, okay? A few more countries as well, all right? So people are starting to get more and more into anime, right? Let's go to current times, 2023. Yeah, anime conventions in just about every state, okay? All over the world, all right? And just tons of anime conventions, okay? I mean, you go to Texas, it seems like Texas just got a kabillion anime conventions, man. Every weekend, it's like, damn, there's another anime convention all over the state, all right? Every state, you got multiple amounts of anime conventions, okay? Well, New York, not too many, but you get the idea, all right? Honestly, like, that's where Disney is failing. Honestly, Disney is failing at that front, okay? Because this is a huge market, all right? They can't tap into it. It's closed off to them. All right, because they're too busy making woke crap, or they're trying to reboot The Little Mermaid, and they're trying to reboot Peter Pan and Wendy. They're not making new IP. All right, this is all brand new IP. All right, and if any one of these suckers catch hold, okay, they can take off and go anywhere. All right, Demon Slayer, humongous. My Hero Academia, humongous right now. All right. Y'all might not know about it. It's big. Trust me, when Netflix gets a hold of it, you know, oh, it must be something. And then, of course, Netflix gets a hold of it and destroys it, all right? Anime in live action is a tricky thing. It's a tricky proposition, and I don't think anybody's gotten it right 100% yet. I know people say Alita Battle Angel is kind of close. I like Alita Battle Angel. I think it's probably the closest in terms of anime live action, but I think it's going to take like the one adaptation that just gets it 100% right, and then everybody's going to be like, oh shit, they got it. They figured it out, right? They got the formula, all right? Hey, everybody go copy the formula, okay? Now that we got the blueprint, let's go and let's run out there and let's remake all of this shit right here, okay? Into legitimate, adapted live action films, okay? And then that'll reach out to even more people, all right? And then everybody will feed right back into the anime, and they'll feed back into the manga, okay? This stuff will just be the feedback loop that it should be. And again, because Japan isn't stupid, they understand the concept of making new things for the current generation. They're not going back and remaking all their old crap. They'll be perfectly happy, all right, just being the initial starting point for Western entertainment, all right? And look, trust me, when Gen Z gets into their 30s and 40s, okay, when Gen Z gets up there, they're going to be like, hey, you know, I want to remake a Dr. Stone live action. Let's go, okay? They're going to be looking for that kind of stuff because, again, just like what we did with the MCU, okay, and DC to a certain degree, we wanted to start to see these things come out with live action versions, okay? So people will be looking for that. And, you know, again, Netflix, they've tried it. They're ahead of the curve on that. They know that, oh, man, if we could get some live action remakes to pop, holy smokes, man, we are going to be in the house, okay? But they can't do it because they suck and they don't know what they're doing. But anyway, folks, what do y'all think about this situation? I think anime right now, it's speaking to Generation Z in a way that Western entertainment simply is not. And that's because they understand the concept of constantly make new things for them. Quit giving us your brother's old clothes, right? Quit making us warmed up hamburger helper, all right? Aunt Cynthia's roast beef from 2 weeks ago, all right? Give us some real solid entertainment that we can dig our teeth into and that we can enjoy, all right? And I think that's going to be the big difference in the next couple of decades. You're going to see everybody's going to start really focusing in on anime, all right? It's taken off in a lot of ways. And, you know, I don't know if the West is paying attention. I don't know if they even have a counter to that, all right? You guys go ahead, jump down in the comments, give me your thoughts and opinions on that. And thanks for watching. See you next time.